everybody. How are you? Oh, how are you? That's great. That's great. Thank you. So, yesterday we are talking about the trading range, and we are in the first step of the control of the market. There is a situation where we have not a trading range, or the market is too tight, so the market is lateral, or the market is one way down or one way up, like today. I'm gonna share with you before to start with the trading. As you can see now, we have a trading range. We have a price 122 and 57. Market euro dollar is one way down. Instead of, that's why it's important, I do not have an available trading range on 30 minutes and as well on 1 hour. So my reference at the time is the 4 hour. In case I will be short only below 122 and 44. Because when the market is one way down or one way up, we need the reference where to sell or buy. Okay, there's the reason. Now, we take your time. Do not worry. Well, now we must talking about how to trade. There are official trading strategy or trading techniques from the Forex International Club. First is how to trade on scalping. But now you know that to trade on scalping in the market as a bank, we can close only customer order, as I told you yesterday. Okay? Because if I trade on scalping now as a freelancer, I have to use 1 or 5 minutes. If I use 1 or 5 minutes trading range, the risk is that I am concentrate only in the last candle and I do not have the control of the market. This is the reason why to avoid to work on scalping. Yes, sure. I was a banker and I trade in the bank till 2003 from 1981. And in, in my bio career, sorry, tell me. Mhm. Yes, yes, indeed. The top of the bank for the dealing room is to be a treasurer, like my last charge. By the way, how to trade, but then we have scalping. Action price that we are going to study today, trade on news, and trade on trend in long period. Action price, scalping. Action price, trading on news when we have the news, and trade on trend on long period. Okay? Then we have, tell me. Well, every time we must be in control and we have an option to decide. Everything is separated. And step by step, we will learn together any technique to trade on Forex market, included how to sell on top or buy on dip. But before, we must step over the second step of control and the third step of control. Now we remain for the action price. Action price. As I told you yesterday, I will show you today where in just one techniques we have three different techniques. Okay, first technique, action price basic. What I mean? I mean that we are able to sell or buy and flat our trading using the same amount. Okay? Okay. Example. Suppose that the market moves down below 44. Yes, 44. I sell one lot at 122 and 43. Suppose the market moves down and I buy one lot at 122 and 27. So I close the deal. Okay, I close the deal using the same amount. I sold one lot, I buy one lot. And I am 16 pips in profit. Once time I close the deal, I update my new trading range. Suppose the new trading range is 1 22 and 23, 55. This is the new trading range, 1, 22, and 23. 1, 22, and 55. I have a question for you. Market moves down at 1, 22, and 22, so below the trading range. We are going to sell another one lot. Wrong. It's not okay. Yes, yes, but don't worry, it's a joke. What I mean is that if the market moves down below 1, 22, and 23, I do not sell another lot, one lot, but I sell just half lot. The question for you is why I use half amount. Exactly. Perfect. Because if I have a fixed stop loss 6, 8 pips, I can minimize the risk only minimizing the amount. Because suppose that I close with 10 pips of profit, this 50K, 1, 22, and 12. I earn 10 pips. I earn 10 pips, but on the half amount. So 10 pips on 50 is equal 5 pips on 100. So I am plus 16 for the day plus 5, 21. Because I reduced the amount. So I made 16 pips on 100 and 10 pips on 50 on half lot. So is look like 10 pips are like I earned and increase my profit of 5 pips for the day. So I am plus 21 on one lot. You got what I mean? In other words, if I minimize the amount, I minimize the risk, but the profit in this case will be minimized because I use an amount lower. Okay? Why? Suppose that the market, instead of to move a 1, 22, and 12, moves up and I have to close in 6-8 pips for stop loss, I lost 6-8 pips, but on 50. In other words, I lost 3-4 pips on R100. So I protect my profit. In other words, this is the reason that we have a fixed stop loss and we can minimize the risk using a lower amount. I minimize because as a trader, for every deal I do during the day, I have to minimize the risk. In this case, if I earn half amount respect to 100, one lot. But if I lost, instead of to lose 6-8 pips, I lost just 3-4 pips. We trade and we have to, once time, we have the control of the trading range. We have a fixed stop loss. We can trade, but we must do protect when we are in profit. Okay. In other word, the more we are in profit, the more we minimize the risk. This is what a professional trader does. Okay? This is the first example. Action price basic. Remember always to protect the profit because the stop loss is fixed and it's okay. So you have to protect your profit. Okay? Second strategy, action price with a split amount. The example is the same because many people say, hey, Walter, but if I sell and the market moves down, I want to let run the market on my profit. And when I take more money, that's normal. but you are not in control. To be in control, you must work like a professional trader. You feel free to run the price because many times happen. Then you sell and market moves directly in your favor. You sell and market moves down immediately. How to do in this case? We made the same example. You sold one lot at 122 and 43. And suppose the market moves immediately at 122 and 23, just for example. What we are going to do? What do you see? Yes, that's what I mean. What we do, if the market moves immediately in our side and we are in good profit, we close the deal of amount and we calculate the average. Do you know what is the average? Yeah. Average or break-even point. In other words, your point zero. We reduce the volume, okay, and we charge in our price our profit. Do not worry, it's normal because there is a formula to calculate the average. And I will teach you all the formula to calculate the average. That's why I asked you, do you know what is the average or break-even point? In other words, we sold one lot at 43. We recover, we recover 50 at 23. So we are short only 50 now, right? Do not worry. It's normal. I sold one lot at 1, 22, and 43, right? I recover of amount at 23. So I heard on 50,000, 20 pips, right? So the average will be 122 and 43 more 20. So my average will be 122 and 63. Pardon? Yes, we still short of amount, but we charge on our balance our profit. Do not worry, after I will show you how to calculate. By the way, now I am short just 50, but plus 20 pips. Okay, suppose the market moves down a 1, 22, and 10. And I want to let run the price. Let run down the price to earn more. Okay? In this case, what is my enemy? Is the rebound, so that the market moves down, then moves up. Market from the bottom moves up. What I can do to protect my profit? I will use dynamic stop loss. In other words, suppose this is my point zero. So till 122 and 63, at 122 and 63, my profit is zero. Above, I am in loss. Below, I am in profit. I have to protect my profit. I will use, suppose the market is 122 and 10, I protect my profit using dynamic stop loss. What is dynamic stop loss? Yeah. In other words, suppose the market still moving down, I decide in case to close, to put my dynamic stop loss at 1, 22, and 20. If the market from the bottom moves up before 122 and 20, I close my deal with 43 pips of profit. Well, it's at your choice. Once time, because important is to have the control of the market. If you are short, your enemy is a rebound. If you are long, your enemy is a retracement. So in this case, I decide, in case the market from the bottom moves up, I close my deal at 20. In other words, I will be always in profit because I start to trade with a risk between 6, 8 pips. Remember? Because it's my stop loss if the price back in range. The market moves in my favor. Immediately I reduce the amount, increasing my average. Then I use the stop loss. So in this dynamic stop loss, so in this case, I'm working with the risk below zero, because in any case, I will close in profit. Okay, now give me just a second. I will show you how to calculate the stop loss, the average, the formula. Can you see my calculator on? Can you see? Okay, 100 multiply 1.22 and 43 equal memory minus, because I sold, 50 multiply 1.22 and 23 equal memory plus, because I both half amount. Memory recall divided 50. I recall the memory and divide for the balance. 1, 22, and 63 is my average. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. With pleasure. Yeah, I am for that. 100 multiply for the price 1.22 and 43 equal 122.43 memory minus, because I sold. Then I bought 50 multiply 1.22 and 23 equal memory plus, because I bought. Memory recalled divide the balance 50. Okay? This is very important, because this is the first time, but not the last. Then I say to all the students, remember, our life is always split and average. Average and split. This is the secret. To be in control of our activity. Exactly. Just a second, please. Sorry, just a second. See what I mean? In other words, the average is another sort of control, because a professional trader must be able to understand where we are. Usually people sell and buy and take a look to the terminal, but they doesn't know how the terminal works. "18 years ago, I was supervisor for many provider with the software engineer development platform to explain them how works the accounting on Forex. To explain that markets in Forex we use average. So the accounting works on terminal in this case because if you open a deal and you take a look at your terminal and you close half amount, one third of amount of your deal, you have two deals. But the terminal works updating your profit and loss, calculating the average. So average is, yeah, average is a fundamental because, for example, when I have more than one deal open, immediately what I calculate is the average because I know where I am. How can control the market if I don't know where I am in terms of average or break-even point or median price is impossible. Well, for that we have to wait tomorrow when we start to talking about the budget. This is the second step of control is the budget. Now is just an example how to trade and how to control the price where we are. Because the average is important because in future we will see in other deal, for example, how much is important to know the average, how much is important to calculate the average as well on the budget, on everything. And don't you forget that the first step on the dealing room is this word. The junior first job is to stay in control of the average. Yeah, average is very important. Now we have the third techniques. Apparently, Demeter apparently is not so useful now, but I'm sure that in future you will understand how much is important. Action price, double sell, twice, or double buy. Suppose that we have two time frame signal near. We have, for example, just to be easy with the number, to sell euro dollar on at 1.22, just hypothetical, and 50 on 30 minutes. And we have another important signal at 1.22, just to be easy with the calculation, to sell at 1.22 and 30 on 4 hours. That's okay. Now, as a trader, we can choose between action price basic, so we sell at 50, then we close at 35, for example, then we sell again at 30, or we can decide to split our amount and sell. And sell 50,000 at 50 and 50,000 at 30. Remember yesterday, I told you that we must be able as a trader to anticipate the market. So we calculate first, what up if I sell 50,000 and 50 at 30? I'll be short of 100 at 1.22 and 40. As average. Yes, because I sold 50 at 50 and 50 at 30. So I am short 100 at 124 and 40. Okay? Suppose the market moves down till 122 and 10. And I still short, okay? I'm going to close immediately the lowest deal. So the deal on 4 hour, the lowest one. But yes, I closed the lowest one. But if I close a deal at 30, I know it's boring. If I close half amount at 50, I will consider only the average. So instead of, if I close at 10, instead of to consider just 20 pips of profit, I will consider 30 pips of profit because my average is 122 and 40. but I still short a 122 and 40 on, and I will consider the average of 40. So I am plus 30 pips, but I leave the average the same at 22 and 40 instead of 22 and 50. Then at this point, I can manage the market using the dynamics stop loss. Okay, this is the third techniques, but will be useful in future, especially when we trade on other techniques. Now I have a question for you. Yes, exactly. Role play. Good job. We sold 50 at 1, 22 and 50. We sold 50 at 1, 22 and 25. What is the average for 100? Be sure. Yes. Yes. Oh, it's boring for you, I know. But it's important for your father, you know what I mean? Do not rush. Check again. Check again. 375, right? Exactly. Exactly. 122, 375. Well, now when we are short only two position, now that you understand very well how to calculate, I show with you the shortcut. 20, 50 and 25, okay, same amount short. 50 minus 25 is 25. The amount is the double, so 25 divide 2. And yes, 25 divide 2 is 12.5. 125 and 25 plus 12.5 is 122,375. 122 minus 12.5 is 122,375. It's not over. Unfortunately for you, it's not over. But this is the core, our core business, a part of our core business. Suppose that in the future you are short of more than one deal during the overnight. And suppose that you are short for a total amount of always one lot. Tomorrow I will explain why, because this is the reason of the swap. Because if we are short overnight, we pay or we increase our average. Suppose that in the morning you woke up and you are short total position 100. You are earning $460. And the market is one at the moment in the morning is 122 and 60. What is your average? Think Then I will explain in case. Yes, you are positive. Note. Okay, take a look. We are plus of $460, right? Our total position is 100,000. So we divide 460 for 100,000. Now we have 0.0046 pips plus 1.22 and 60, 123 and 06. In other words, you take a look to your profit. You divide your profit for the total amount and you will have the pips. If you are in profit, you just do additional your pips to the price. So if the market is 122 and 60, you are short a 123 and 06. So you are earning 46 pips. 46 pips on 100 are $460. I thank you very much for your attention. How to calculate the average and something like that? Yeah. Well, after the lesson of budget, you will receive a follow-up, included the formula of budget and the Forex journal. This is the lesson of tomorrow. Anytime you have a question, please contact me by mail, direct message on Twitter, or by WhatsApp. You always welcome because remember, after the mentor, the meter, we are always in contact. At the finish of the mentor, I didn't say, hey, thank you very much, have a good luck. No, we're still in contact. As I still in contact with all my students all over the world. Always at disposal, you know. This is my mission. See you tomorrow and enjoy evening you all. Bye bye.